Welcome back. The Ekurhuleni Council has faced further disruptions in recent days, which have at times led to the cancellations of sittings. EFF Councillor Nthabiseng Tshivhenga was elected as interim speaker on Thursday after some political parties walked out. Former Speaker Raymond Dhlamini left the session as well on Thursday. Joins us now in studio to talk more about what's been going on in Ekurhuleni. A very good evening to you, sir. I say former speaker, but you've already said that you intend to challenge that. How will you do it?
Good evening, and good evening to viewers at home. Yes, Nthabiseng, that's true. The matter will be heard in court on Friday, 10 o'clock in the morning. So that's where we are going to the court and ask the court to intervene, because as the speaker on that day, I adjourned the meeting and I referred the items to the next council meeting. So that's what happened. Yes.
Well, the other parties in council which then went ahead with the election of an interim speaker say that you walked out and adjourned the sitting precisely because you were trying to delay the inevitable, i.e. your removal anyway.
They'll put it that way. You adjourn the meeting because there's something that is happening in council. If you check the Council of January, the EFF councillors, they came straight to my chair and they disrupted the meeting. So we'll look at that, and when they start fighting, I felt strong to say, no. Let me adjourn this meeting and refer the items to the next council meeting, because in terms of the rule of the House, I'm allowed as a speaker to refer those items to the next council meeting.
So procedurally, if you can explain to South Africans watching tonight, especially people who live in Ekurhuleni,
yes,
where did things go wrong procedurally on Thursday? So you adjourned the session and then it continued without your presence, the presence of the DA and other allies from council, and then ultimately the municipal manager, I think, was elected to your post.
Yeah, what happened is that in terms of the Structures Act, one councillor raised his hands and said that we want you as a speaker to step aside and allow the chair of chairs to chair the meeting of today. And I asked him, which rule are you using? So I quoted for him in the Structures Act and for 1F. So when I quoted to him, I said, but for 1F is saying that you can only elect the acting speaker if the position is vacant or if the speaker is not present. I'm here as the speaker. So that's where the argument is. And they said, but you are implicated on this thing. So they started that noise and keep on shouting and shouting. And so I felt like, no, this is enough. We cannot find each other. Then I adjourned the meeting. Then as subsequent to that, adjourning the meeting, after an hour, I heard that the city manager, she went there and reconvened the meeting with those council who remained behind, which it's a question mark itself, because if you want to have a meeting, you need to send the notices out first and the venue and tell where the meeting will be and what will be the item or the agenda of the meeting. But that was not done. So we felt strong, let's go to court, so the court will assist us on this.
So on Thursday, when you made the decision to adjourn the session, this wasn't the first rowdy council meeting that you'd had in Ekurhuleni. What was it about the level of contention on Thursday that you felt simply did not allow for the business of council to continue?
We adjourned the meeting on the 26th of Jan, precisely because the argument was the issue of the motion. They wanted the motions to come first, but to change the agenda. But the first councillor of the DA raised his hands and said, I want to change the agenda to start with adjustment budget. And another councillor raised his hand and said, we want to amend that to put the motion first. And when you read the standing order, it's clear that both are motions. So on that basis, then one's motion needs to fall away and take one, which will take the adjustment budget, because it's the first councillor that raised his hand. So when we convened the meeting, we started there. I said, I made the ruling. And besides, because I made the ruling, there is nothing that we can do. The adjustment budget is going to start. When we're done with that, we're going to follow the agenda as it is. And by the way, Nthabiseng, if you feel strong that the speaker took the wrong decision, you can take the speaker on review. You're allowed as a councillor to do so. And that matter can be heard on the next council meeting. So I don't know why councillors, they don't want to take me on review.
So you referenced the 26th of January. Yeah. There was a similar scene just last week, beginning of February, this past week, excuse me. When all of that was going on, were there any other options that you could have used outside of adjourning the sitting?
The only option that you have, you adjourn the meeting. Then what was supposed to be done because when I agenda meeting, you're going to call all the leaders of the various political parties in the caucuses and sit down and have this discussion with them. But you can see that already they took that decision, because your agenda meeting, in an hour, already something that is happening. So you can see it was well planned accordingly. And that's why now we are saying this is a coup, because it cannot be where your agenda meeting as the speaker to say, I'm adjourning this meeting, everyone, let's go home. People decide to remain behind, and the city manager came, and without even receiving the other council, without even receiving the emails or official notices to say, in an hour is going to be a meeting. So other councillors were denied an opportunity to participate in that meeting. Yes.
What then do you want the court to do about the situation? What are you asking for specifically?
Because we are concerned about the service delivery. We can't find each other. Then the law, the court, it will assist us. I think that will be the best, to go to court and say, court, assist us here. Then the court is going to assist us, all of us there. I don't want to say, I don't care who's in the wrong side or on the right side. But what we want to see the council that will be able to move and work and give the service to the people. So that is why we are going to court to say, court, intervene, because we cannot find each other here.
Are you saying you want the High Court to basically say that the sitting that was convened after you had adjourned proceedings was unlawful, and that the subsequent then election of someone to act as speaker was invalid? Is that what you're asking?
Exactly. That's what I'm asking, to say it cannot be, even no matter how you have numbers. But if you don't follow the processes accordingly, that's the problem. Thembekile, today we are sitting with lots and lots of issues, because this thing of we are majority. We need to stop that. People need to follow the rule of law. We have to do things by the book. Then majority will follow after. It cannot be done to say, because we have got big numbers, then we're going to do whatever that we want to do without following early processes. It's a waste of time.
And it's become quite boring, has it not, across all of you as political parties in Ekurhuleni, the constant drama in council, a mayor in, a mayor out, a speaker in, a speaker out, when communities actually are still waiting for all of you, any of you, to deliver on promises that you made during campaigning for the 2021 local government election. You're accused by the ANC and its allies of basically presiding over a council that has failed to deliver to the people of Ekurhuleni, failed to hold the DA-led coalition accountable, where it's failed to basically service people as it should have. They say especially in the townships and some of the poorer areas in the metro. How do you respond?
I think, Thembekile, we need to be fair here. No one got a majority. We are in minority in that council, all of us, including the ANC. But what we have to do is that all of us, we need to work hand in hand together. Complaints that I'm receiving as a speaker in my office about councillors, that they don't answer their phone, that they don't assist community in terms of the issues. It's a lot. So I understand people keep on saying the executive failed us. But what about you as a councillor? What is that you did as a councillor to make sure that you assist the residents? Some of these issues are basic issues where you feel strong that, but the councillor is supposed to assist here. So I'm just bringing this to say to the residents out there to say, look what you did. We are the minority, all of us, but because we can't find each other, because everyone is looking around to say, where can I get voters? Where can I manipulate the system so that I will remain relevant to the people? And to me, that's the problem. What we should focus on, all of us, we should focus on the service delivery.
What did you do, though, what did you do about the complaints that you received? You said yourself tonight that there are many complaints about councillors.
We take councillors to the ethics. You go to meet the public, you talk to them, and you try to explain to them what is the way forward. But it's unfortunately, ethics is led by another ATM. The chairperson of the ethics is ATM. So take the councillor there. It's a waste of time. They're allied to the ANC. So obviously, they'll make recommendation that will favor what? Favor the councillor. So that's another problem that we are faced with. But what I will challenge today to the residents is to say, next time when you go and vote, you need to understand that if you give us minority government, it is going to be a problem to govern, because every politician wants the piece of pie. And that's why today we are seeing these things. Not about work anymore, it's about position.
Are you saying that the situation in Ekurhuleni is an example of the failure of coalition politics, that they don't work in South Africa?
It's a lack of education. I think first we need to go that process as a politician. How can we make this thing work? Because others, they just say, because I got 2 seats. I want to be I need MMCs. If you don't give me, then I leave. We don't look the track record of what is that you are putting on the table to give the service to the people. We are just looking seats. So I feel strong that we have all of us to embark on that and get a training and understand what kind of a government are we looking for that will be able to assist us.
But the problem for you, Mr. Dhlamini, is even if you had the purest intentions and wanted to return a speaker and the court does say your removal has been unconstitutional, invalid and the rest of it, if the numbers continue to stack up in the way that they are currently, your fate appears sealed. You're basically going to return and be out, similar to what happened to Mpopalads in Johannesburg. Have you accepted that?
Exactly. That is why we are saying that we are teaching them that you have to know, going forward, numbers is not important. What is important is the rule of law. If all of us will follow that, all of us will be happy. We're not going to be in the mess that we are in today because of people just coming in and use numbers without even following the processes. We need to follow the Constitution. What the Constitution is saying, are we in line with that? Then I'm fine with that. If they do that, it's fine. They can have it. We don't have a problem. By the way, I'm not here for position. I'm here to serve.
So have you accepted that you're basically on your way out if this process is rerun and done in accordance with the law and the numbers play out in the way that the ANC says they are lining up currently?
No, it's fine. No problem. As long as at the end of the day, everything will be done accordingly. What I'm asking for, what we are asking for, let's do things in a proper manner. Let us not use numbers, but let us use the law. What the law is saying to us, what the Constitution is telling us. Let us do that. If we do that, I'm telling you, we're not going to have the mess that we are having currently in this country.
But it's troubling, is it not, that by what you're saying and even what we saw in Sunday, that people who are basically lawmakers are breaking the law in some cases or seemingly not fully grasping what the law allows them to do and not to do at a basic level?
I agree with you. You're 100% correct. But we need to start somewhere. We need to push. We need to push. We need to push. Eventually we'll end up getting there. We should not give up. We have to keep on fighting and fighting to say, we have a rule of law here. Let's allow the rule of law to guide us. Where to? Not the numbers.
Raymond Dhlamini, good to speak to you, former Speaker of Ekurhuleni, going to court this coming Friday, you said,
yes,
where you will challenge your removal through a sitting which he says was unlawful and invalid. Well,